Today we encounter Rabbi Yehuda's acronym, his mnemonic device for remembering the Makos, Detzach, Adash, BAchav, made up of the first letters of the names of the 10 plagues. And this really has been a very mysterious addition to the Seder, and again, in a particularly bizarre footnote to Jewish history. It was actually the subject of a canard by a heretical group in the 18th century, the Frankists, who claimed that this was actually a secret message within the Haggadah about the blood libel, about the allegation the Jews used the blood of Christians as part of the Seder ritual. And they said this mysterious acronym is really a secret message to the Jews about this horrific ritual, which again, obviously is a bizarre canard, but born out of the question of why we need this. In other words, what exactly this mnemonic device is supposed to teach us. The Hagos Maimonios quotes a number of different opinions current among the great rabbis of France and Germany in the Middle Ages to explain the significance of this. And again, a number of them saw Detzach, Adash, and BAchav as essentially structural, of affirming the idea that the Makos can be broken up into three groups. Either that each group has a distinct identity, or that the internal order of each group, in other words, one can see a pattern of first, second, and third plagues that repeats itself again and again and again. Looking through commentaries in the Haggadah, or even going back to the text of the Chumash, you can try to examine whether, in fact, this structure of Rabbi Yehuda of three phases, Detzach, Adash, and BAchav, play itself out in terms of the way the plagues come, or the themes of the plague, a number of different approaches along those lines. I want to focus, though, today on what I think is a particularly intriguing explanation found in the Hagos Maimonios, which is the suggestion that Rabbi Yehuda feels that part of the mitzvah, it would seem both at the Seder as well as when someone was bringing Bikurim, is the 10 plagues have to be recited in order. What's interesting is that the story of the 10 plagues is found in other places in Tanakh, most noteworthy in the book of Tehillim. And there, the plagues are not presented in order. Again, it seems that there, it's a more experiential approach to the plagues. And the truth is, one wonders whether the average Egyptian going through the plagues really saw it as an unfolding series or just encountered different kinds of suffering. And the Tehillim really focuses on that aspect of the plagues, and we'll talk more about that in tomorrow's video. This opinion basically, though, says that when telling the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim, we need to look for the patterns. In other words, it's not enough for us to say bad things happened to the Egyptians, and there were frogs, and there were also locusts, and there was blood, and there were wild animals. That's not sufficient. In other words, that the story actually has a progression, and again, it may well be that the Detzach, Adash, BAchav itself is a description of the internal progression of the plagues, but the seeing of the plague story as being sequential and meaningful is part of the story. That even though we have other texts that present it on a more experiential level, our mitzvah is to see the unfolding pattern. And therefore, maybe that's part of what we are supposed to be doing at the Seder, not just to enumerate the 10 plagues, but to try to understand what the sequence is, which again I think is certainly very rich fodder for further discussion at the Seder.